So a decade ago, I lived about a mile down the road, and I was actually a warden at this Anglican church as well. A lot's changed in 10 years. Certainly this area has changed in 10 years. I started beekeeping around that time, and I've always maintained a hive at this property, beautiful property here in Richmond Hill, Ontario. So at this same property, about 230 years ago, close to 230 years ago, there's a Frenchman, Joseph de Puisset, and he has a really remarkable story if you're at all interested in history and the French Revolution. He actually lost to Napoleon twice. So he was a counter-revolutionary during the French Revolution, and he raised up a militia twice, and he actually lost twice, and then he gave up, went to England, realized, I want to keep my head on my shoulders, and decided, the English said, you know what, there's this place in the middle of nowhere, you can have that land, it's yours, you just got to develop it. So at that time, there was absolutely nothing here. There was not even a road. There was a trail going up what is now Yonge Street. It was just a forest trail, basically. So they were given the land, and he had a group, I think it was 40 or 50, what you would call French nobility. So these would be, the people who would be hanging out with Marie Antoinette, eating cake and the like. And they tried for a couple of years, and these members of the nobility and their servants were unable to adapt themselves to a pioneer existence. And by 1806, their settlement, known as Wyndham, was abandoned. How you could go from the Palace of Versailles to, middle of nowhere, northern Ontario, well, I guess that's why they failed. Anyway, I'm going to get into some bees here. So this hive at the back of the property, in early May, it was a very strong double. And so I took the queen, sold the queen for a nuke. I think I made about 4 splits off of it, and then just left them in a nuke box. And then when I came back in June, I think there was like less than a frame of bees and no queen to be found. So they thought these guys are done for. Then I came back in July, and there was a queen, there were a load of bees and a load of brood. And so I thought, well, I guess I'm not going to be shutting this apiary down, if you can call one hive an apiary. Let's see. I don't have my hive tool. Are they going to be mean? I don't have a veil. I don't have a hive tool. I'll just move slowly. How these guys are doing today. There you go. They've got honey. That is a medium frame. They're looking good. They're happy at least. Got some brood and eggs there. More brood. That looks good. I love when you come and just things are working as they should. Awesome frame of broods. I have a feeling that this might have actually been a queen that came and just, some feral queen from some hive somewhere, because there were hardly any bees here in June. There was no brood, and now we've got a bustling hive full of eggs, looking great. Well, I will close these guys up. They've still got space to work. My job is done. So, yeah, about 10 years ago, I built this garden, and for the purpose of a community garden, and I'm glad to see it's still being maintained as a community garden. I'm actually very surprised that the greenhouse poly, it's original greenhouse poly. Let's check it out. So here is the greenhouse I put up just about 10 years ago now. It's looking great. I'm glad it's being maintained. I think they don't know that there's a tightening tool. These are slack. I think I've got the tightener. Tomatoes. A lot of tomatoes, a lot of cucumbers, peppers down the middle. I think that's the same configuration I had back in the day. So I've actually got 12 polytunnel frames and braces, and I've been meaning to pick those up. They've been here for a number of years. I gotta pick those up one of these years and set that up at my house. I'm actually very surprised how well the poly is held up, except for these two spots. So there was, I think it was in November, maybe 2017 or 18, I bought some pigs. Just at the side of the road there was a sign that that's, $30 for a pig, and they were big wieners. So I think they were about probably 40 or 50 pounds for a wiener is pretty good. And so it was winter, everything was out of the greenhouse. So I thought, well, I'll build a little, got some pallets and build a little pig pen, and fatten them up for New Year's, and had a big New Year's Eve pig roast. It was a wonderful time. But, that's the legacy of the New Year's Eve pig roast. Some hoof. There's a pig hoof right through there. Good thing they didn't escape. That would have been a little bit awkward. Feral pigs running down Yonge Street. That's all for today. Have a great day.